A little late than never, but okay, we got about another 5 minutes before we'll start sharing some of those out.
It takes a while to do.
Oh, you don't have to make one. You just need to like check this one out on your pod and then write the story.
Oh.
Yeah, you can just write a sentence per block.
Ah,
Yeah, no worries.
I was like, 5 minutes.
No, you're good. So we're all clear, right? Expectation is at least one sentence per block, and so just minimum 4 sentences.
What is teach in Spanish?
To teach?
Yes.
Enseñar, muy bien, Reagan, yeah. So enseñar. Enseñar.
So we just yes.
Emily, all done with yours? All right, about another minute before we'll start asking for some volunteers to share out what they wrote about these panels.
I only understand a couple of words and I can't read it.
Okay, vamos. Vamos. So we've got at least a sentence each. And when we're kind of describing what's going on, right, we can either talk about what the scene is, que es el escenario. We can also just talk about the general actions of one or two of us. So in that first image, what did y'all rate? Somebody, what's like one of your sentences that you wrote about the first image? Dora, ¿qué escribiste? What did you write?
Entro a clase y su maestra le dio los buenos días.
See, came into the class, right? Entered the class, and we greeted you or said goodbye, right? One or the other. Muy bien. Haley, ¿qué escribiste? What did you write about this?
Señor Lowry y señor Williams son los profesores de la clase.
Sí, perfecto, sí. Habla de las personas, right? Talking about the people up here, describing who they are, muy bien. James, ¿qué escribiste para el segundo? Yeah, fue a la estación de tren, right? So he went to the train station. Estuvo, sí. Abigail, ¿qué escribiste? ¿Qué escribiste para el número 2? Sí, es tarde para el tren, right? Running late for the train. Absolutely. Did anybody comment on my backwards looking wrist right there? I don't know what Pixton was doing when I was like holding a shopping bag, but it's very much like crooked and looks broken. But, you know. Kenji, ¿qué escribiste para el tercero?
Señor Williams James y Veronica en el museo.
El museo, muy bien. I don't know why we had to be fancy for the museo, but you know, there we were. Brennan, ¿qué escribiste para el tercero?
El camino en el museo por hablar bastante.
Sí, so walking around through the museum, muy bien. Did anybody comment on what Veronica and James are saying? Veronica, ¿cómo se dice en español? Sí, Veronica habla español, James habla en inglés. Sí, funciona, pero muy bien, muy bien. Y Emily and Kaylin, I think you guys ought to tell us about what you wrote for number 4.
Go ahead, Kim. Well, I'm working on it right now, but hold on. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one.
What are they arguing about?
The sweater.
Yo escogí mi suéter primero. Right? I chose the sweater first. You're the one that has to choose. I don't even know which one of the two is arguing about it.
I
But
didn't know the word for all. Why are they look at because Kayla copied me.
I did not. Don't
Life
even.
imitates art.
We're actually about to fight over this sweater.
Emily, ¿qué tienes para el cuarto? For the fourth one.
I haven't finished it.
Oh no. Está bien. Mira, ¿tienes algo para el cuarto o no?
I also didn't do it. I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to say that you were. I didn't know how to say what I wanted to say.
Está bien. No, that's always tough when you think of the way that you want to say things and then you're not able to like.
I was gonna say that you were escaping from the fighting, but I didn't know the word fighting.
You could always say like the battle, like la batalla, la
Didn't know
pelea.
that
Right?
either.
No, I always get into that where I want to say something in a certain way and I know how to say it in English, and then when that word like escapes me, it's so hard to think of a different way to say it. But muy bien, muy bien. So a few of our different words, right? We could say, hey, there were about Mr. Williams was going to go in canoa para escapar de los dos estudiantes. Um, Anything really, a lot of different vocab that we could use up here. And so kind of, varies on what you focused on, whether you focused on dialogue, whether you focused on scene or people. Pues muy bien.
Can you use the word canoe as a verb?
Um,
Like he canoes away, or is that not a thing?
you could always say like ir en canoa, like to go in canoe away, right? Or like pasar en canoa, right, away. But I don't, senior allowers, do you know? I don't think like canoear is like a thing.
No. It's like skateboarding as well. We talked about level one. There's just certain ones that English is just more flexible with its language than Spanish is. So they just won't turn those things into verbs like we do in English.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do Facebook and Snapchat, we turn those things into verbs. So we don't use letters like that.
Funny. Pues muy bien. You can go ahead and close those do nows. From there, let's go ahead and can you pop over to the document that you made yesterday, por favor? It should be the week 6 scaffolded writing and dialogue sheet. So we're gonna prepare for a little Spanish time. So we're gonna spend kind of the rest of the period on this. And so for those of you that were not here yesterday, go ahead and make a copy of this document. It's in week 6 in Canvas. It is SW scaffolded writing and dialogue sheet. And so yesterday, right? Can somebody remind me what did we do yesterday with this? What did we use this sheet for at the end of the day? Oh yeah, and yes, we wrote a story, right? And so we kind of used these questions to guide us along as we went, right? So we needed to talk about where we went, how we got there, who we got to visit, what we did, and then how was it? How did it go? And so these could be made up, they could be real. A lot of us were going to Parques de Diversiones, a lot of us were going a la playa, wherever we went, whether it was real or not. We have that information kind of in here. And now today, we're going to do the Spanish time. And so these same questions are going to kind of guide your dialogue. And so like I was doing yesterday, I would like you guys to partner up. So we'll partner up in a moment, but you will ask each other these questions and you will record about your friend, right? So let's say, for example, that Mia and I are partners to this. And so Mia will write down all about my story, about the trip that I went on, and vice versa. I'll write down about her so that later when we switch partners, and maybe I'm now a partner with Brooke, the next round, in round 2, Brooke will be asking me about Mia's trip. So we're going to change who we're talking about here. So then I'll have to tell Brooke how Mia's trip went. And if Brooke and Avery were partners in round 1, then Brooke is telling me about how Avery's trip went. So round 1, we're talking about our own trips with our partner. We'll change partners for round 2, and then tell about our first round partner's trip. Does that make sense? So we'll be recording both of those. And so we're using these questions, not only did they help us guide like how we wrote what we did, but they're also going to help us kind of guide that dialogue as well. So your answers will be pretty similar to what you wrote as well, but feel free to jump in and like push a little bit deeper. If they say, oh, I went and visited my cousin, what's your cousin's name? Where do they live? Are they from there? Or did they meet you there? Oh, you visited your cousin in Florida? Oh, cool. Do they live in Florida? Whatever else. Try to have this be like as authentic of a conversation as possible. Like actually try to like share like valid information about this. That's kind of the point of this practice, right? Is to transfer information like as best as you can. Because then that shows that you got the skills to do that later on, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, typical Spanish time rules. We'll have the flag up, 10 points 1 point off for like any English that we hear as we go. Does that sound good? We'll take a pause in round 1 to swap partners, and we'll go back. Sound good? Preguntas, comentarios? Muy bien, muy bien. So, go ahead and partner up, and then you will remember, start asking about your own trips. And make sure that you record how their trip went and all the information about it. We'll be talking about it later. Ready? Comenzamos en 3, 2, 1.
Hola. ¿Cómo? Sí, bien. ¿Y tú?
Un grupo de 13.
Sí.
Gracias.
¿Qué modo de
Que modo de transporte para sí. ¿Quién besaste? Sí. Ellos vivían en Bahamas.
Coche, sí. Coche. ¿Usaste un coche para llegar
Ellos
a
viven
destinación?
en Bahamas.
¿Con quién viajaste? ¿Con quién? Con las personas. Como tus padres o hermanos o hermanas. Padre y hermano. Muy bien.
¿Qué hiciste?
¿En auto? ¿En auto?
Y
¿Cómo manejaste? ¿A Florida? A la playa, sí. Es como 20 horas para llegar. Sí.
Oh.
12 horas. Mejor que de Indiana, sí. Que de Indiana es casi 20 horas. Es mucho mejor salir de Tennessee. Sí.
¿Cómo te
¿Es 6
fue?
horas? Oh, sí. Aún más mejor. Sí.
Siempre hay mucho más conversación durante los PostMidterm activities.
La diferencia.
México. El modo de transporte era
Fuiste a Florida, sí, sí.
el barco.
Visitaste
Sí.
cuando estuviste en Florida. Sí, tía, ¿es la hermana de tu padre o de tu madre? Oh, Vacía de okay, sí, sí, como
El modo de transporte
Okay.
era el barco.
y
¿Qué más visitó?
¿a quién visitaste? Nadie.
No visité a nadie.
Sí, ¿a quién visitaste en Cedar Point?
No visité a nadie.
Sí, como una persona en Cedar Point que viste como un tía o un tío o una tía.
No visité a nadie.
¿Qué
¿Dónde fuiste?
más favorito de
¿Qué?
¿La casa de tu madre?
Nadie,
¿Dónde
caminé,
está la casa de tu madre?
bronce
O-
y mi
en Gasburg? Sí, sí. Es un pueblito, sí.
nadie,
Ok, qué bien, qué bien.
caminé,
¿Y Brennan, a dónde fuiste?
Yo visité
bronce,
Sí, las montañas o una ciudad.
Sí.
Las montañas, muy bien. Muy bien. Ah, ¿cuál montaña?
y mi
No, and
divert.
¿Cuál es una palabra de preguntación?
No
transportation.
Oh, no recuerdo su nombre. Sí, hay muchas montañas.
Fue muy
Smart.
bueno.
Sí.
Caminines.
¿A dónde
Sí.
fuiste? Para semana. ¿A dónde fuiste? Sí.
Emily, ¿a dónde fuiste?
Bahamas.
Sí, 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 fuiste a las Bahamas. Galen, ¿y tú a dónde fuiste?
Mexico.
A México. Sí. ¿Dónde en México? ¿Como Cancún o Yucatán?
Mm, no sé.
¿No recuerdas? Sí, no, está bien. ¿Usaste un avión para llegar o qué? ¿Usaste un avión o qué modo de transporte usaste?
El barco.
El barco, como un cruise.
Ujú.
Qué divertido, sí.
Sí.
Muy bien. Una pausa de Spanish time y un momento en inglés. How was it? Good. Not bad. I mean, even if it's like incorrect, like what you're saying, you're like, I don't remember this exactly, but if you get the idea across, right? That's like the goal. And so, like, be comfortable in that. Like, we're not gonna always know the words. Like, Senior Lauer and I have been practicing for years and years, and there are still plenty of days, like every day, where I'll run into words that I don't know. And so for you guys to be able to just kind of work around that as best as you can, and like just being comfortable like making those little mistakes, like it's totally cool because the idea here is communication, like just getting ideas across and transferring that info. So really well done. We're gonna go ahead and go to round two. So what you have recorded about your round one partners, you are now going to share that to your round two partners. So Jasmine and Brennan have been working together. So let's say if Jasmine and Abigail are now partners, Abigail's now asking about Brennan's trip. And so now Jasmine is talking not just in the first person, yo fui, yo visité. She's saying, was Brennan visitó. Brennan fue, right? So we're changing that person. So let's make sure that our conjugations match up when we're talking about he or she or they, right? Make sense? Sound good? Okay, vamos. Otros, other partners, and then we're gonna restart Spanish time and
May I be able to Sure.
Listo,
I'm changing the like
en 3, 2 y 1. Vamos a comenzar. Avery, necesitas alguien, sí. Puedes trabajar en y Kenji, pueden Avery también. Sí, gracias. Sí.
¿A dónde fuiste? México.
Pues está bien. Pueden
¿Qué modo de transporte hizo para llegar?
y todos ustedes pueden preguntar a ella sobre Emily.
No visité nadie.
Sí, sí. Funciona.
¿Qué hizo? Repite. ¿Qué hiciste? Nada. Caminar. ¿Cómo te fue? ¿Dónde fue? Lo cual. ¿Qué modo de transporte? ¿Quién visitó? Su amiga Olivia. Ella nada y come la comida. ¿Cómo le fue? Muy bien. Sí.
¿Cómo le Hollywood? ¿Quién fue a Hollywood? ¿No sabes? Wait, Kenji? Oh, ok, sí. Hablaste con Kenji, ¿sí? Y, well, hablaste con Brooke, ¿sí? Sí, muy bien. ¿A dónde fue Brooke? Sí, fue a Ohio, muy bien. ¿Y a quién visitó Brooke?
Muy bonito.
Sí, muy bien. Gracias. ¿Y a quién visitó Kenji? Sí, muy bien. Gracias. Muy bien. Mía, hablaste con Abigail primero, ¿sí?
Sí.
Sí, ok. ¿Y a dónde fue Abigail?
Ella fue a la playa.
Bueno, a la playa de Florida, ¿sí? ¿Y tú fuiste a la playa de Oregon? Sí, perfecto. Dos playas muy diferentes.
Sí.
Sí. Pero, ¿a quién visitó Abigail?
Su amiga Olivia.
Sí, una amiga. ¿Y tú visitaste a tu tía, sí? Sí, ok. ¿Y tu tía es la hermana de tu madre o de tu padre? Tu padre, muy bien. Muy bien. Emily, ¿y quién fue a México, sí?
Ujú.
¿A quién visitó Caitlin?
No visité
¿A nadie?
Ujú.
Sí, porque fue un barco, sino como un cruise. Sí, entonces no hay nadie para visitar Juan. Sí, ok. Muy bien.
Ella.
Ok, muy bien, clase. Pues vamos a terminar. How did round 2 go? Bueno, más o menos malo. Give me some thumbs up. How did it go? Really in the middle, right? A little high. All right. Vamos. Well, you can go ahead and return to your seats.
Adios.
I started telling Jalen that during, and I was like, oh wait.
How comfortable were you guys like sharing that information, like talking back and forth? And what can we do to make it easier, to make it better?
I guess we just should learn Spanish.
Come on now, you guys know Spanish.
Yeah.
If we didn't master it, I think just exercise would be a little easier.
It's just like the words in between talking. Like it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right,
Even
It's not enough to make the conversation comfortable.
the filler words and whatnot. But do you guys feel like you actually learned something about your partners though? Whether it was a fake or a real trip? Kinda, right? I mean that's the idea, right? That's the idea with any of these Spanish times. I feel like I'll be a little bit more real about like the goals with you guys than I will be about Spanish 1. And so like the goal here is just to get you guys comfortable like in the language and like also kind of fumbling through like with words that you don't know, right? I feel like a lot of times we want to always know the words that we're saying, or we always want to like make sure that we're like totally perfect. But like as you're learning this language, like you just won't be. Like I'm never perfect in the language usage that I do, but the goal is just to like get the communication across, like get that idea understood. And so how many of you guys think like what you said was like understood and interpreted by your partners? Like 100, like they got the idea of what you wanted, right? So then like communication goal was met, you made it through, and like we're moving on. So we'll get the grammar there, we'll get the communication there, but otherwise like the idea got across. So like if you were somewhere and you could only speak in Spanish to somebody, you could probably tell them a story about where you went sometime or maybe how you got there if you were lost somewhere, right? That's kind of all we're looking for. So muy bien, you guys rock. You guys are actually a lot more daring with the language than anybody else I've seen in Spanish too, which is pretty cool. So muy bien. Bien hecho. Go ahead and do I have this to be able to submit anything? I don't think I do. Nope. So I will go ahead and edit this, throw those guys in here just so that I can see the little notes that you took. I would love to see how you guys wrote it down. Let me edit that. Muy bien. All right, so I just edited it. So into that SW week 6 scaffolded writing and dialogue sheet, go ahead and just upload that. I would love to just be able to look at this and see how you guys wrote your notes down. I think that would be really interesting. So go ahead and do that for me.